What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey guys, welcome. Bonding with the Bosagers. We're live on YouTube and Instagram, and so it's been a minute
Absolutely.
since we've been live. It's been a minute.
Yeah, guys. I don't know if you guys see that in the on the title. Whether you're on YouTube or Instagram, but it indeed has been a while. Life has been life in for sure, but definitely thought about you guys, and wanted to make sure that we continue to make ourselves available to you guys, that we continue to bond with each other, that we continue to just catch up, and that we just continue to just talk. So this is what this is about. I know the last time we did a live was probably a couple months ago,
It's like at the
and
start of the year.
yeah, so again, it's been busy, but we're trying to catch up. We're trying to catch up with you guys, and hopefully, you guys are able to catch up with us as well. Again, this is Bonding with the Boss is Yours. This is our page, our channel, where we just talk about life, we talk about family, we talk about faith, just a whole variety of things. And so we take these moments to just for you guys to get insight on who we are, what we're about. And again, we're just grateful to be here. We're grateful to go ahead and do another live, another episode, whatever you want to call it. We're just grateful for the opportunity.
And the last time, I think it was like at the start of the year, the last time that we was live,
Mhm.
and then next thing you know, it was just like everything just it was so busy. And if you haven't, and even though
Yeah,
we haven't been live, we've still been like posting on, I think on every platform we still have been posting. So as you can see,
yeah.
our um our firstborn, our baby boy, just turned 1
Ooh,
last month.
he's a grown man, if
Um,
you ask me.
yeah, like it's been kind of busy. If you guys happen to just click on this live and come in, drop a comment, let us know that you are here. Let us know
Absolutely.
that you're bonding with us. Drop a
Yeah,
comment. Um, yeah.
absolutely.
So while we're waiting, because we don't mind just talking amongst ourselves, because that's just what we do regularly anyway. So while we're waiting for some folks to jump on, um, we'll start off with just like an icebreaker,
Sure,
with the
sure.
icebreaker, and
But even before that, like I feel like we owe explanation to our audience. So what have you been up to? What's been going on? I know we have Ezra. He's been keeping us real busy. As you said, he just turned 1.
mhm.
We're raising a man child at this point. So he's been, it's been extremely busy. Just
uh,
watching him grow, watching him, just be who he is. And it's been beautiful.
yeah.
Other than that, what's
I
been going
mean,
on?
to be honest, so I feel like it's different, right? Like for some people, it's different, or it's easier to like go live and keep up with social media on a day-to-day basis. Like
Uh-huh.
when it's like sometimes when that's your main thing, where like that's, you could put so much time into it. But
Hmm.
for me, it's been working my 9 to 5, right? And it's
Hmm.
been like just even that, like just being more requiring more, demanding more of my like more and more of my time. And so
Yeah.
it's been the 9 to 5, it's been traveling for work, it's been motherhood, it's been being a wife, it's been just making sure that in every single area, and just even in my personal devotion to God, like just remaining consistent with that, and like not feeling like so many other things is demanding more and more of my attention. I'm not able to have that dedicated one-on-one time with God. So it's been just making sure I'm diligent in my pursuit, in my seek. Um
Hmm.
it's been like ministry. It's all of these different things, and then there's podcasts, there is Bo, there's like, so yeah, it's just like a number of things. And not to say that not to say that like we push this aside or anything like that, but it's just
Mhm.
even with trying to find the time, I think, to go live, we have to wait until like a nap. We gotta wait, until the right timing to
Yeah,
go live. So I think that's what it's been.
yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah. What's your explanation for the people?
Um, well, I think everything that you essentially said. Yeah, it's been work. It's been, ministry. It's just been a real busy time. I think what's really been taking good amount of time is Bo. You just mentioned Bo. Just the whole relaunch, and even after the relaunch, trying to, you know, put new stuff out there, like trying to create, trying to, just get the inspiration and the ideas for future collections and things of that nature. So it's been a real busy time, and I'm actually excited for next month. I'm not gonna say much more, but um there's some stuff on the way, and I'm really excited about that. I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I'm actually excited about the collection after this upcoming collection. So I'm jumping ahead of myself again, but it's been real busy. That's been taking a good amount of time, but um, yeah, but it's been a good busy. I'd say that.
You stress.
It's been a good busy, and I'll never forget what's been constantly said over us is just the grace to handle,
Hmm.
the grace to occupy. And so it's been a lot of plowing, a lot of um, trying to endure and persevere. It's been a lot of that, but nonetheless, it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
So I feel like God is stretching us. God is increasing our capacity, for more.
Hmm.
And so it's just been a blessing. So I'll
Yeah.
I'll say that at the very least.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, at the very least. Yeah.
Did you want to jump into the icebreaker?
Sure.
Okay. So the icebreaker, guys, I don't know if you guys, even if y'all catch the replay, if we keep this video up, but if you guys were on with us the first time, we had this little game that we played, or we had these cards that we used from this game that we would play. It's called Christian Culture. And so they have like different categories: icebreaker, stories, couple topics, interpretation, like biblical interpretation. So I'm gonna grab an icebreaker, and the icebreaker is, what is your ideal vacation?
What is my ideal vacation?
Hmm.
I think it's cliche to say, the tropics somewhere where it's just great weather. I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody want to go somewhere like it. It's
And listen,
crazy.
people travel to Alaska.
Yeah, true. Yeah, some people just find a muse in where it's snowing and just
Yeah, no.
that's very interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. But for me, I'm a simple guy. I just like a good place where it's just great weather, great sightseeing, and good food. So as long as I have that, I'm good. I'm pretty much good, and I think places we've been, it basically symbolized that. So
Yeah.
it gave that. So I have no complaints of where we've been, where we're going. In the future. So it's again, as long as I'm with you, it's good weather, great food. Then that's all I need. That's my ideal vacation.
I think for me, I feel like I don't know if it's like the more you get older and mature, and like for me it's just relaxation, just to just be able to just be calm, just chill out, beautiful view, beautiful food,
Hmm.
laughs, play some games with each other, all of that good stuff. I feel like for me, that's a good sightseeing. That's a ideal
Hmm.
vacation. Every now and then to try something like we haven't tried before, maybe something adventurous, but I don't think I've been feeling adventurous on these vacations these days. Like it's just after our honeymoon, probably zapped all the adventure out of me having us bungee jump.
Yeah, the
But
honeymoon trip.
I
Yeah.
still have some. I still like. I want to try the adventures in Dubai because, like, those seem fun. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
good
remember we
food,
were
good
supposed to
views,
go there.
same, huh?
So I remember we were supposed to go there.
I know, but yeah, man, I wish you guys were on with us. It's been too long, I guess, since we've gone live, and so, but
Yeah. Um, I mean, you just took the answer for me because the other icebreaker question that we have here is, what is the most ridiculous or unbelievable thing you have ever done? I still can't believe that you um was with doing the bungee swing.
yeah, that was crazy.
So just to, give the context or the background story, we this was after we got married. We went on our honeymoon trip, went to Los Cabos. Still to this day, that's probably the best trip I've been on. It's so amazing. I know Cancun is like the norm, for most, but like if you ever get the chance, Los Cabos is it. Like I just can't wait to actually go back there. I don't know
Hmm.
when. I don't know when we're gonna do it, but Los Cabos, man, that was just a vibe. That was just
Yeah, it
such an
was.
amazing time. But one of the days Lonnie and I, we decided to go ahead and be adventurous. And mind you, this is like fresh off of us saying I do to each other. And so, Lonnie thought she knew me until that
That
trip
was
where
crazy.
I had her up, what was it, 30,000 feet in the air?
It was just too many. Like,
Man, so yeah, we go to this adventure park type thing, and one of the things that they had available was a bungee swing. So think about being on a swing, but this time again it's like 30,000 feet in the air. So I just remember we went there and like I wanted to do it, like deep down I was type scared, but I still, I had to, like, be, the strong one, or like, the crazy
Mr.
one.
Machizo,
And
Machismo.
Shalani was just like thinking about like, yo, am I doing this? Am I not doing this? Am I doing this? Am I not doing this? So it's just like you could just, if you could just see her like just back and forth, like
It
in
was
terms of like, is she gonna do this or not? And it was just it was just so funny. I took my stance. I said, listen, we doing this, like,
it
and
didn't
so
make it any better that like when we were going to the other like the other things to do in the park,
mhm.
there was people like there were other couples, there were people like, "Oh, you guys did we're like, "Yeah, we did ATV. Yeah, we
I
did this."
forgot we did,
And then they were
yeah,
like,
and there was
"Oh, but you guys got to do the bungee jumping." We like, "What?" Like, well, I was like, I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Why are these people like putting the battery in our back?"
it was, man. And so it's like Lonnie is saying no, like, in her mind, and just like, but for some reason we find ourselves just closer and closer to the thing.
Oh my
We
goodness.
find ourselves closer and closer, all the way to the point where we're actually like in the cage. Like we're like in the cage where, like, they're prepping you, doing all of that. And so it's just like, and I'm just honestly, like, again, like part of me was like kind of like nervous and scared, but I'm just like, yo, I can't believe, like, it's just the fact that you were still there, like you were still there next to me. It seemed like you still, like, you were saying no, but you were just like, all right, like, I guess we got no other choice to do it. I think that's what gave me the courage to be like, all right, yeah, we definitely doing this. And
Crazy.
the guy was just like putting latching, like putting the latches on us, and
Yeah.
I just remember just looking down. And you know what's
Just
funny?
seeing straight
The cage was
ground.
moving a little bit, so it's just like this the dramatic
Oh
effect,
my
like
goodness. I
just
would never
it
again.
just it was so intense, like us before we even get on the swing.
Yeah. Then this was I think what was crazy
Man,
is when they let us go and we drop, like there's
wait,
somebody
you gotta like
what
we
build
gotta
up.
build up to
Oh
that.
my
Like
sweet Jesus. Okay.
we can't even discuss that yet. We're still on the fact that we were in the cage and they were just putting those latches on us. Cages moving like slowly. So it's just like, yo, like this is real time. We're really doing this. Then he opens up the cage. And if I remember correctly, we had to like sit down, right? Like I think we had to sit
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Our feet is dangling, like literally.
And then they just like
And they had to bring the swing. And we had to like like be seated on
it's
the
a blur
swing.
to me. And then
Yeah.
what the swing just drops you,
No,
right?
not wait. You gotta like
I'm
wait.
sorry. For
So
those of you that's on Instagram, hey guys, we're talking about what's the most ridiculous thing you've ever done before.
so we so then again we're sitting outside of the cage, our feet dangling. They bring the swing over to us, and then we get on the swing, and then they do the final latches. Next thing you know, we're being pulled up, like so as if we're not already up,
How do
like
you remember this all
up in the
vividly?
air. Listen, stuff like that you can't forget.
I did.
Like so it's as if we weren't already up like thousands of feet in the air. So now they do something where they're pulling us now, where we're leaving the cage. Oh my god. I can't believe we did this.
Me neither.
So now we're pulling away from the cage. We're latched on. So now there's distance between us and the cage. And I just remember the guy he's laughing. Like he's just having a ball. Cause it's just like, yo,
Yeah,
like,
he was.
I got you guys. Like, it's like he was kind of putting the battery in our backs too. So and he's basically it's like there's no turning back from this.
At this point.
Next thing you know, we're up. And it's like we still have to wait. We still have to wait like another minute. And I just remember we're looking down, and you just see the valley. You just see everything underneath there.
And it's like,
oh my gosh, like everything. You see everything down there, and we're just like, yeah, we're really doing this. And then
and the next thing you know, my heart was in the pit of my stomach. And
I forgot what he said.
This guy was at the bottom of the ground telling us to kiss. And I'm like, what? You talking about kiss? Like, get me out of this air. Like, get me out of here.
Suspense, guys. We're trying to build the suspense. So now I forgot what he said. Like, do you remember? I guess he said something. I don't know if he did a countdown or whatever. All I know is that the next minute you just hear a click. So there's a click, so the latch is released.
This story is so animated.
Oh my gosh, the latch is released. We hear a click. Next thing you know, we just dropping. Like, I just remember we just yelling. We just like, oh! And that wasn't even like to go down was one thing, but it's like when we went all the way up on the other side, and then the swing started to go back. Man, that was.
And then he said, "You have to grab the hook and hook it on so that they could reel us back in." Like he was like, "I'm gonna throw the hook." I remember that part because
oh my gosh.
Oh shoot. Shook said jumping off a cliff in a waterfall in Jamaica knowing I can't swim. I forgot she did that. No, that's what Shook did. That's what she wrote in the comment. The most ridiculous thing she ever done was jumping off a cliff in a waterfall in Jamaica, knowing she can't swim. I don't think I jumped. I can't remember. Like with that, I don't think I jumped. I think I cheered them on. No, I did jump. Right? Sure, did I jump? I don't know. Cause like the Jamaican folks was calling us chicken, like because we didn't want to jump. Like they were calling us chicken. Man, I'm telling you, now at this big age, nobody can convince me. Like, nobody can convince me to jump off. She said I did jump. Nobody could convince me to jump off for nothing.
Oh my gosh, that was too crazy, man.
Nobody could convince me to jump off for nothing.
Yeah, so it went from one end to the other, and we just kept swinging until like the swing was at a stop. And as Alani said, the next part of it was we had to grab a hook so that we could be reeled back to the cage. That was crazy in and of itself.
That was crazy because the first time
couple times I missed it, so I'm just like I'm trying to. I'm trying to get the thing, and it's like I had to like reach, and I'm like, I don't want to lose like my seat in trying to like, I don't want to lose my balance. I don't want to try and like set you off. And so I'm trying to grab the hook, and then we end up grabbing it, end up hooking ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get reeled back on there. And then listen, it was quiet for a minute.
It was.
We had to take it all in. But also next to the bungee swing was actually the bungee jumping. And so I looked at Lonnie and said, "Are we doing that also?"
Yeah.
Folks would look like they were just having a blast. Like, somebody just, as soon as we went up there, we saw somebody just get off the cliff. Like, I just see them yelling and all of that. And, they just jumped down, and then they, with the bungee jumping, like, brings them all the way back up. So that was fun to see. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing that though, but definitely what's on my list is, what's it called?
What? Oh yeah, you're not doing that. I already know what you're about to say.
Not iFly.
iFly. Jumping out the airplane.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called though.
Oh my gosh. Whatever that thing is called. But definitely I have that on my list. We were supposed to do that when we went to Dubai, but put it off for another time. But yeah, that was like something that was really unbelievable. I don't know if it's gonna get any more unbelievable than that.
It's not.
I don't know if we're gonna be doing anything in the future where it's just like, no, we're not doing that. Or in fact, we are. But yeah, that was a good one. That was definitely a good one. All right. So that was the icebreaker, guys. And so that was the icebreaker. And so we're just gonna dive into just a couple of questions. And again, guys, it's bonding with the Boss Jours. You guys can certainly bond with us, and so feel free to jump in, chime in
the comments,
whatever you want to share. But as it pertains to us, let's see here. Well, this one, yeah, let's start off here. So how long, I really want to hear your perspective on this too. How long do you think a couple should date before getting married, and why?
Honestly, I feel like you can't put a time limit on it, because like, yeah, you can't put a time limit on it. I think, but okay, so this is a hard one, y'all. And this is a hard one because I personally think you can't put a time limit on it. Like when you know, you know. And if you, I think first things first is to consult with God about it, pray about it.
Mhm.
And like, hey, if you feel that settling in your heart, if you feel that settling in your spirit, and
Mhm.
like the Lord has like given you like, hey, yeah, you can pursue it, you can move forward with this person. I feel like then, hey, like if that happens in 3 months, good for you. But me personally, I think that a year is a good starting point. Um Shook said she used to say at least 5 years, but now I believe you can't put a time limit on it as well. 5 years, I think, is a long time. Like, so the reason why I say a year is because in a year you get to experience like if somebody is so if somebody that whole honeymoon stage, right? Like, or if somebody is putting their best foot forward and like, just like doing all the things to kind of capture your heart and win you over. I don't feel like a person can, or like if a person is putting on a front, I don't think that a person could put on a front for a whole entire year. Like somewhere along the line, the true colors is gonna come out, at least in my opinion. And so and that's one thing. And then the other thing is I feel like within a year, you get to see that person like you'll see in a year, experience them being upset. You'll experience like how you get to see in a certain within time, you get to see how they handle certain things, their
Mhm.
responses, like their triggers. You get to see that. And hey, granted, if somebody could like put a mask, what part you don't believe? She said that part I don't believe, Pastor. But like, if somebody could put on a mask for a whole entire year, then hey, like, but that's why I said, in my
She's right
opinion,
though.
like
Yeah. That's
that's why I said in my opinion.
mm.
I believe, in my opinion, you cannot put on a front for an entire year. I believe that somewhere along the line your true colors is going to show, and I want to see how you handle things when you're upset. I want to see how you respond when you're triggered, like and so yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you have people that could put on a mask for a year.
Mhm.
Listen, God bless them. Well, you said 5 years. Like 5 years is a long time, and think about it. Just even like from I want to say even from like a Christian perspective. Like, do you believe that people have to court for 5 years to know, hey, this is the person that I want to be with? I feel like I don't know if it takes all that time to know.
Okay.
If you know, and then if you know, what's the wait, right? Like if you know and God gives you the green light, you consult God about it, and He's like, "Hey, go
So
for
you
it."
think a year should be, because you said a year, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we at a year, so you know,
yeah.
I mean, we got to know each other for 3 months, became exclusive after that, and we were exclusive for a year before I went ahead and popped the question. So, right? So
Hmm.
you'd say like a year
I
of
think a
dating?
year is a good start. Suge is stuck on. She said, "Okay,
Mhm.
3 to 5 years is fine."
Okay.
What do you say?
Um,
We got Suge over here that won't let up on us 5 years. She minimized it then to 3 to 5 years. What do you say? I said a year. What do you say?
uh, to be honest with you, I don't have a
Every circumstance is different. She
yeah.
wrote
Every
every
circumstance
circumstance
is
is
different.
different.
That's why for me, I don't have like a like how long they should because like what if like again you consult with God, like you ask God for wisdom, understanding, all of that concerning your significant other. Let's say you meet somebody and it's just like 2 3 months
I said
took it
that
right
though.
off,
I
and
said in
like
3 months, if
by
you
month
know,
6, 7, like
I
pop the
said that
question, what
though.
if that happened, you know? And it's just
Yeah.
like it's all like, just led back, like, there's some relationships like that.
Yeah, I
And
know.
so
But what would you say is standard in your book? Because we know that every circumstance is different. We know every relationship is different. We know that, like, for some people, it could be a year. For some people, it's 3. But for some people, if God gives them the green light, or if they feel like they know in a matter of 3 months, then hey. But I'm asking, what's your perspective? Because it says on this thing, there's no right or wrong answer. So I said how long I thought and my why. So what's how long you thinking and what's your why? And we know you can't put a time limit, but if you had to.
I'd, I'd probably say I'd say 1 year minimum, but like you set a standard, so I'd go between 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
I'd go 1 to 2 years. Um, but again, like, if God gives that opportunity for it to be a year or even less than that, and it's just like, you know, timing is there, it feels right.
Hmm.
Prayed about it, seek God for it, and he gives the blessing. Then listen. But for
Hmm.
me, I would say 1 to 2 years.
I personally think though, like whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months, I think that the reality is like the totality of what you will experience of that person, right? You don't like you experience all of it and the depth of it like after I do. And here's why I say that. I'm talking about, and hear me out when I say this. Like, I mean, like if you are courting in a way, like if you are courting in a way where it's like, okay, like not living together, like not um physical, not all of these different things, right? Like if you are courting
Mhm,
and um waiting to marriage, just all of these different things, right? I believe that when you get married, even if you wait 3 months, a year, 2 years, I feel like you don't experience the totality of that individual until you experience the other side of I do. Like until you live with the person, until intimacy, like all these different things, like you experience the totality of that individual like on the other side of I do. And that's just like because
mhm,
I knew you, like we had relationship, we had friendship, but I feel like there were things that courtship probably like I just would not have learned in courtship, but I learned in on the other side, like I learned in marriage. And so and that continuous becoming process. And so um I don't know how I ended up there, but
mm. Yeah, that's very true. Like there's different levels to it, but and as you said, like when you reach marriage, when you reach like establishing a covenant that's been witnessed before God and man, um it takes things to another level, right?
mhm,
There's life experiences, there's just experiences in general that you go through, that you experience together, um when you reach covenant, right?
mhm,
So many things. And so yeah, that's very interesting, because again, there's the friendship, which I believe, should be like where it starts, like the foundation of things, courtship, and then entering into marriage, where um, now there's an unraveling, there's an intimacy that we endure, that we experience, that we go through, that we don't experience at a friendship level or a courtship level, right?
right.
There's and it's like not only that, but just again, like we mentioned, like us now moving in with each other, and me getting to know you the different attributes that there is to you, the different things that there is to you now, like just living with you,
Mhm.
being married with you, that I didn't experience with you when we were just friends, when we were just talking,
Mhm.
when we were exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very interesting. I think that's important to mention, especially as like um uh, a marriage couple, like based off the kingdom of God,
Yeah.
right, as believers, right?
Right.
So that's important to mention. That's important to just to highlight.
Yeah.
you know
And the reason why because I was like, how did I end up there? But I mentioned that because sometimes like people wait like long stretches of time because it's like, okay, like, well, I got to see if I really know this person, or I got to see ABCD, or like figure eight, like all of these things out. And it's like, I mention that because, again, there's some things that you don't know or you don't understand the depth of, or, just until the other side. And so, yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
We have a couple more that we want to ask you guys, so we'll ask each other and ask you. Again, like feel free to go ahead and jump in, chime in what your thoughts are, guys. And so is this right here? Do we want to ask this? Hmm. There's a vulnerable question here, man. I
Which
don't know
one?
why.
This one or this one?
This one right here. Uh yeah, let's ask this one, man. This one's so in your honest opinion, in your honest opinion, are we good at offering grace and forgiveness to each other?
um.
I think we are. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's my honest opinion. I think we are.
Okay.
Because there are things that, I want to say, but I hold myself back. I'm sure there's things that you want to say,
Yeah,
and
it's so sweet because a
you
few
hold
times I
yourself
would have been
back.
like,
Okay. On the live. Okay.
I was
All
just
right.
joking. I'm really just
All
joking.
right.
I would never. But yeah, I think so
Mm.
too.
But I think, I mean, I was gonna let you talk, but yeah, go ahead. Go
No, you
ahead.
could go.
No, I think we even like from the very beginning. What we're 3 years in now. I think even at the very beginning, um, we were just quick to, just forgive and just to like, hash things out, talk things out right then and there, and like, not let things linger. It's very seldom where
Mhm.
like, we would let things linger. But I think knowing you, like you wouldn't you wouldn't allow that. And so, and that rubbed off on me, where it's just like, and I think that's also like, I don't know why, I would say I'm kind of wired that way, like where it's just like, man, you can't let things like be under the surface and just go about the day. Like that's kind of tough. That's
Mhm.
not, and
It's
to be honest, it's
uncomfortable
not,
to
it's
live like
uncomfortable,
that.
it's unhealthy. It's
Yeah.
like, you want your home to be your peace. You want your family to be your peace. You want to like, be at a place of like, just being at rest, at ease and
Mhm.
mind and at peace. Um, with the one that you spend your life with,
Right.
So it's like, in terms of like, I don't remember, I think it's like, again, very seldom where, things would like linger. I think we are good at, giving grace to each
Yeah.
other, and forgiving one another.
I don't know what you laughing at. Also, for those of you that's online, what are your thoughts? Are you good at offering grace and forgiveness to, whether it's your spouse, whether it's to those in close proximity to you? Are you good at offering grace and forgiveness to the people around you? What you laughing at?
Think about the dishes. I'm thinking about the dishes. I'll leave that alone.
Whatever.
Grace, grace, grace,
Whatever.
grace, grace,
Listen.
grace.
Anyhow.
This
Anyhow.
is.
Like, stop. For real. Stop.
Oh.
Stop. Because I've had to extend grace, and I have multiple
Yeah,
times. Glory to
grace.
God.
But yeah, go ahead.
I would say so. Um, I mean, everything that you said, I would say so. I don't really have much to say about it. Like, I would say so. I can't live in uncomfortability, so I feel like, um, even in moments, it's like, yeah, like I can't live in uncomfortability, and so for peace sake, I think having uncomfortable conversations, addressing things like rather quickly, not allowing things to linger, not allowing things to fester, and yeah, forgiving quickly because I think for me too, like really, I don't like to, I don't like to, like, I feel like I can't do the things, like, I can't, like, I feel like I am limited, right? If there's things festered in my heart, like, I am uncomfortable with ministering. I am uncomfortable with, like, you know, just like ministering to others, declaring the word of God, and I know that there's like issues in my heart for me personally, and so like I like to address things. I like to like talk things through and forgive and move on. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, I think that I think we're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Nobody responded to us when I asked the question if folks is good at extending grace and forgiveness to those that they are in close proximity with or to your spouse. Um, yeah, nobody responded. But I don't know if you want to move on to the last question.
Yeah, we can move on to the last one. Um,
We'll
so
conclude with this one.
yeah, we'll conclude this one. I think this one's a fun one. Um, this is a fun one. I think it's good to end it on this note. But other than Jesus, which biblical person would you have tea with and why?
John.
John? That's a
Hmm.
good one. Okay.
Um, yeah, John. Because I just, I thought I heard that. I like the book of John. I was reading the Gospels, like probably I was reading through the Gospel. I've been reading through the Gospels lately, and I was reading through the book of John, and
Mhm.
like just his love for Christ and just his revelation and um his heart towards Christ, like all of that. It's just like I would love to sit and talk with you. Um, and so yeah, I would say John. I really wait. Let me say this one more person too, because I have a soft spot for Moses, and I have a soft spot for Moses because he had to lead a whole entire nation, right? Like so many people. He had to lead them to their next place, lead them to the promised land, and he had to deal with their personalities. He had to deal with their disobedience. He had to deal with their idolatry. He had to deal with all of these different things. Like, and there were moments where you've seen like the human parts of him, right? But like, but he still continued on, right, with leading. And I don't know, I would love to have a conversation with him around just like the burden and the weight of leading these people. And, you know, so I would say Moses too. And I would love to ask him too, like, what made you hit the rock and not speak to it? Like, what made you hit the rock and not speak to it? Like, what made you go off on them in that moment and call them rebellious, a stiff necked people when God specifically gave you? But you know what? To be honest, how many times God gives folks specific instructions and we go our own way? But yeah, that's my own little John and Moses. Who would you like? Who would you choose?
I mean, John is definitely a good one. You stole that one, so I'd say since you went with two, I'll go with two as well. First one would be Paul. Um, because of his, you know, his revelation of um who Jesus is, and just being out there to deliver the gospel of Jesus Christ outside of his own people,
Mm,
right? That was
mhm.
where it really began to accelerate when Paul came into the picture. And so now we really get to see what's spoken of in the Old Testament in terms of the prophecies of salvation being brought to the entire world, beyond the people of Israel, the Jews,
Mhm.
bringing it being brought to other nations, right? Where now all nations are participating in just giving their life over to God, giving their life over to Christ, and to live life for Him. It began with this man who was out there persecuting Christians,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And now had an encounter with Jesus Christ. And now the same man that was doing that is now in the synagogues and in the streets saying, Jesus is the Son of God.
Mhm.
And now, not only that, but it's writing half of the New Testament,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it'd be good to have a conversation with him, because I also have some questions for him, because it's just like, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that? Because he, like, the depths that he went to in his
Yeah.
letters, it's like I really gotta have a sit down and have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote this just came to mind, but
I
I
also
was
wanna, like, I see someone just, like, came on. So if
yeah,
you just joined, the question that we asked was, other than Jesus, which biblical person would you have tea with and why? And if you've been on this whole time, you could also answer the question. If
absolutely,
Yeah, drop it in the comments.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Um, oh, something I don't know if you saw my note. I know we're following each other on the U version of the Bible app.
I
Um,
didn't see you know
but I wrote a note because I just finished reading. No, I'm in First Corinthians, so I started reading the Pauline letters. And um, I believe First Corinthians 2, where Paul starts to, no, I don't think it's 2. I think it's either 3 or 4. But Paul starts to, make mention of I hear you guys are doing some crazy stuff over there
Mhm.
at the Church of Corinth, and he names the person that told him. And
For
so
real?
I was like, man, like, you really that bold to mention who snitched on you, who snitched at the people at Corinth, and
Like,
it's
you
just
gave
like,
up your source?
yeah, like, I'm like, hey, like, Paul, like, what's going on? What's going on over there, as he was writing and as you were thinking. So I think Paul is very interesting. The second person would be Enoch.
Mm.
I would love to have a sit down with Enoch.
What did you see?
Enoch, Bible says that Enoch walked with God
He was no
until
more.
he was no more, because God took him. And so it's just like, what does walking with God look like? Because that's what the author said about you. So what were you doing in your time
I
on
love
earth
that.
that showed that you were walking with God? What, like, like, can you explain that to me? What was, like, what was your daily routine? You know,
Mhm.
because what did you do consistently that made God take you from the face of the earth.
Yeah.
You didn't die. God just simply took you because
Mhm.
you were living in such a way that you were just walking with him, you know?
Yeah.
And not only that, but like, I have yet to read the book of Enoch. Um, that's definitely on my to-do list. I can't wait to, dive into that. But, from what I've heard, like he starts describing a lot of things.
Mm.
Um, like things concerning the spirit realm that takes place, things that happen like beyond the natural eye that we don't see on a day to day, but like things that he's witnessed, things that he's seen. So it's like explain that a little bit too, like
Mhm.
we get some understanding on that. But
Yeah.
um
Did
yeah.
you was that the book that like was it that book that we were talking about and you was like it's like is that the one of the biblical books that's like expensive?
Oh yeah, that shit is expensive.
Because
Yeah.
I also for
And it
anybody
wasn't
that's
included
watching
in the
too,
canon.
it's not in like the Bible.
And it wasn't
Um,
included in the canon because the people who were decide, like I guess the council
mhm,
that was deciding what was I don't want to butcher the word, but
mhm,
canonical, or what's like true or what's authentic. He goes into depth of like so many things about angels and just things of that nature that it was just like, yeah, we can't include this.
mhm.
It doesn't mean it's not true, but he goes into depth about things, and people are just like, okay, let's like hold off on this,
Yeah.
including the scriptures. So um yeah, he's definitely somebody that I would love to. And last thing, I don't remember one of those days I was like doing the math of like, when it was like talking about the lineage from Genesis 4, how it goes from
Yeah,
Adam
yeah.
and Eve and all of that. So it's like he lived through, if we take it literally, right? He lived in some of those times where, you know, um a couple of generations after Adam, like were present, right? So it's just like that's really interesting because when you read it literally for what it is, some people lived 700 years,
Mhm,
900 years, all of that. So it's just like you were able to see your forefathers
mhm,
from generations prior,
mhm.
right? So what you thought I was gonna hit you with
No, no, no. I was just looking down at your
so I mean, so it's just like, what was that like,
Yeah.
what was the earth like at that time? Like,
Mhm.
what was that you witnessed? So
Yeah.
I think I got a solid two.
Okay. And you said just the last thing, because you said I took yours. You was gonna say John. What was your why for John?
And yeah, just because of his love for Jesus, just
Yeah.
like the way that he explains, like because each gospel, we get a different lens, right?
Yeah.
We get a different lens. The Book of John is referred to as like the Book of Love,
Mhm.
right? And so just the love that's there, the descriptions, you could tell that he did it. Like when he was writing it, it was just like he was pouring out, the love that he has
Yeah.
for Jesus. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good way to end. And I feel like I want to post that question. Other than Jesus, which biblical person would you have tea with and why? Because
Yeah.
that's really a good question. Oh, I see Key joined. Hi Key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
We're about to end, Key.
Oh man. But all right
Catch
guys,
the replay.
it was good being on here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Whoever catches the replay, cool, wonderful for you. If you happen to stumble across this video and you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And yeah, I think that's it.
Absolutely.
We'll
Thank you
try to be
guys.
do more.
Yeah. Thank you guys for bonding with us. Again, aside from the lives, we'll have upcoming episodes coming out. So stay in tune for that. And yeah, again, thank you for bonding with us. And we hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night, evening. Have a great weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, which means it's a 3-day weekend.
Wonderful.
Well, for me, um, I don't know if anybody's going to be working on Monday, but I'm taking these 3 days, and I'm hoping that it's a long 3-day weekend. Need that rest. But yeah, again, guys, thank you again for hanging out with us, bonding with us, and till next time.
Alrighty.